30 seconds to go now in round 2 here at Madison Square Garden in New York. The 4th match of this U.S.-USSR boxing competition. Now we come down to the less than 10 seconds. And there is the bell. And that is the end of round 2. Okay, Elliot, after this one, of course, we go to our opening. I'll be going on the ring apron. Anything in particular, any thoughts or how long I should keep it? Well, we got a minute to talk. Like I'll say, this is here at ringside at Madison Square Garden. The Felt Forum is sold out as New York boxing fans have been waiting for this meeting between the U.S. and the Soviet fighters, and particularly for the heavyweight competition and the rematch of Marvin Stinson and Victor Ulyanich. Something like that, huh? Okay. Ben, have you been following these fights around the country? No. All right, we are set to go now with the 3rd and final round, the welterweight division, 147 pounds. At ringside, adjudicating on the fight, are 2 American judges, 1 Soviet official. In the ring is a Russian referee. For the United States, we have Roosevelt Green from Cincinnati, Ohio. His opponent for the USSR is Mikhail Bykov. It would seem to be an even fight. Green scored early. Bykov came back in the 2nd round. And now here in round 3, the fight is pretty much on the line. Bykov pulling his way inside and slamming those body punches in, trying to bring down the guard of Roosevelt Green, a much taller opponent. But Bykov, a powerful fighter and a very, very well-conditioned one. And some of the finesse we saw earlier in the bout is now starting to diminish as both fighters are getting inside and just teeing off from the waist. Roosevelt Green of the United States, a left-handed fighter, throwing those right-hand jabs. Wow, a hard overhand right by Roosevelt Green. That scored. But it apparently didn't flinch Mikhail Bykov one iota, as he just kept right on coming. The Russians in their drills constantly are working on 3-punch inside combinations, left, right, left. They worked very hard on that with their coach, Yuri Dodonyan. We are coming up to the 2-minute mark of round 3, the final round. Both these fighters with a big right hand and both very cautious of the other's artillery. That was a trip. No punch. Dadaev, the referee, a little slow in breaking the clinch. Now he does so. Less than a minute to go in the 3rd and final round of this welterweight competition. We have less than 30 seconds to go now in the final round. Roosevelt Green of the USA, Mikhail Bykov for the Soviet Union. Both fighters running a little low on steam now as the bout winds down. Less than 10 seconds. And here now is the bell and the end of the welterweight bout between Roosevelt Green of Cincinnati, Ohio in the USA and Mikhail Bykov of the USSR. And now we'll have the official decision of the welterweight competition. Roosevelt Green of the USA and Mikhail Bykov. And the victory goes to Mikhail Bykov of the Soviet Union. And at this point, the Russians take a 3-2 lead in bouts in the best of 11 competition. Right now, I'm going up. I'm going to take my earpiece out. It won't reach. Well, that's all right. They're going to hold for 5 minutes. Positive. Positive. They announced it before this fight. This is the first time ever the USA and the USSR have fought at Madison Square Garden in New York. And the felt form is sold out for this competition. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. Tell me when we're ready to go. This is the New York boxing fans have long awaited the first confrontation here in New York City between the fighters from the Soviet Union and the USA. And the felt forum of Madison Square Garden is sold out for this competition. They're particularly looking forward to a rematch of the Las Vegas heavyweight fight a couple of weeks ago when Marvin Stinson of the USA was decisioned by Victor Ulyanich of the Soviet Union, a very unpopular decision. And they'll be back in the ring in a rematch tonight. Now let's go to the action. Let me have the earpiece. They want you to do it again. Okay. Okay, I can hear you, Elliot. Okay, fine. Very good. This is the first time that the Soviet fighters have come to New York City for their competition with the USA, and New York boxing fans have been awaiting it. The felt forum of Madison Square Garden is sold out, and these New York boxing fans are particularly interested in a rematch of the Marvin Stinson-Victor Ulyanich heavyweight bout. A couple of weeks ago, they fought, you may recall, at Las Vegas. Ulyanich with 2 Soviet referees at ringside. Let's do it once more. Okay. New York boxing fans have been awaiting this competition for the first time in New York City between the Soviet fighters and those of the USA. And they're particularly interested in a rematch of the heavyweight bout a couple of weeks ago at Las Vegas, where Victor Ulyanich of the Soviet Union was given a very unpopular decision over his heavyweight counterpart from Philadelphia in the USA, Marvin Stinson. And they are rematched here tonight. And so we'll be looking at that fight. And the felt forum of Madison Square Garden in anticipation of it is sold out. And now let's go to the action. Huh? Okay, Elliot, I got you. Yeah, okay. Just, okay, Pat and back. Did that look all right? Huh? Okay. Very good. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Pat. Now let's get back to the action. Thanks, Pat, and the competition is ready to continue now here at the felt forum of Madison Square Garden. Right, Pat, and we're back and ready to go here at the felt forum of Madison Square Garden. The only problem, Marvin, with that opening was I said tonight. I said tonight. Huh? Yeah. You want to do another one? We got a second. Let's do it. Madison Square Garden's felt forum is sold out for this first competition in New York City between the Soviet fighters and those of the USA. The New York City boxing fans are particularly interested in seeing a rematch of the Marvin Stinson-Viktor Uljanic heavyweight fight. You may recall a couple of weeks ago at Las Vegas, Uljanic was awarded a then very unpopular decision. They thought that Stinson had won it, the American boxing officials, and they are rematched here tonight. We'll be looking at that, and Madison Square Garden in New York City are very enthused about it. As we mentioned, the arena is sold out. So now let's go to the action.
In the light middleweight 156-pound class, in the red corner representing the Soviet Union from Moscow, Leonid
Yes, I am.
Representing the United States, in the blue corner from Andrews, Air Force Station.
All right, here we go now. In the light middleweight division, 156 pounds. Representing the United States Air Force from Washington, D.C. is Henry Bunch. And his opponent from the Soviet Union, Leonid Shaponikov. Leonid Shaponikov. Shaponikov, the taller of the two fighters in the all-red uniform, is, like most of these Russian boxers, very experienced. Most of them have had upwards of 150, 200 fights. One of the light heavyweights has had 280 fights. So they've been in the ring a long time. On the average, they're giving away, the Americans, 4 years in age and over 100 fights in experience to their Soviet opponents. At this point in the competition, the Soviet Union is in the lead 3 points to 2, winning 3 of the first 5 matches. Henry Bunch in the Air Force Academy. Again, we have an American fighter trying to stick that left hand in, and somewhat perplexed at this point, it would seem Henry Bunch is, over the right-hand lead of the southpaw from the Soviet Union, Leonid Shaponikov. A lot of noise, but nothing happened as Shaponikov blocked the punch. Round 1. Shaponikov is a tough customer. Boy, he is looking for the knockout at all times. He stuns his opponent for just a moment. You'll see Leonid Shaponikov drive inside and start firing those wild right hands, trying to take him out. Very pleased to have with us at ringside a distinguished AAU figure, Colonel Don Hull, who has seen every bout in the previous American-Soviet confrontations, both here and in Russia. Leonid Shaponikov trying to come inside to drill that right hand. Again, the Russian fighter, the aggressor. Bunch getting his right hand up to block the left-hand power punch of Leonid Shaponikov. This is round 1. Not too many blows thrown in anger have landed here in the first round. Henry Bunch on the right from the United States Air Force. Now he appeared to be staggered somewhat by a right hand from Shaponikov, and here is Shaponikov moving in, bulling his way inside, and the bell rings. That is the end of round 1. Now, as we watch on replay, Leonid, that was nowhere. That was set to go to round 2 of the light middleweight division, 156 pounds, with the Soviet fighters at this point leading 3 matches to 2 through the first 5. The U.S. is represented by an Air Force man, Henry Bunch. The Soviets by Leonid Shaponikov on the right. Shaponikov, the reigning light middleweight champion of the USSR, a former European light middleweight champion. An experienced fighter with over 150 fights. He comes in with that right hand lead, and then he's looking to drill that straight left hand, a power punch. And he got a couple of punches in now as Bunch is starting to bleed slightly from the nose. And it would seem that Bunch is having trouble contending with the right hand, the southpaw. The right hand lead of Leonid Shaponikov. Shaponikov, wide-eyed, just waiting for that opening. Yelling out for Henry Bunch to fire the right hand to the body. A lot of noise, nothing happened. Leonid Shaponikov counter-punching nicely as when Bunch does mount an attack. Shaponikov coming right down the middle of that good left hand. And here in the second round, he's pretty much taken control of the fight. In Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, if you were watching on Sports Spectacular, Leonid Shaponikov defeated the United States champion Jerry Bennett. This is round 2 of the light middleweight division. And now a right hand from Shaponikov was blocked, and Henry Bunch came right back with one of his own. And now blood is flowing from the nose of both fighters. About 30 seconds to go in round 2. These are all 3 rounds, scheduled 3 rounds, 3 minutes to a round. A minute of rest in between. Basic Olympic boxing setup for all competition. And again, with that right hand lead, Shaponikov comes off it with a straight left hand. And there is the bell, and the end of round 2. All right, we're set to go, and there's the bell, the start of round 3, the final round of the light middleweight competition, 156 pounds. Representing the USA is Henry Bunch in the United States Air Force out of Washington, D.C. His Soviet opponent, Leonid Shaponikov, the reigning USSR champion. And now Bunch, a much more aggressive fighter than he was in the first 2 rounds. And Bunch apparently took a straight right hand, loosened a couple of his teeth as he's bleeding from the mouth. And right now, Bunch goes to his corner. It looks like they're going to stop the fight. The fight has been stopped as a hard right hand to the mouth of Henry Bunch took its toll. He lost a couple of teeth, and Bunch decided that would be it. He could have a jaw injury. Only Henry Bunch knows how badly he was hurt. Colonel Don Hall, what did you see there?
Well, he lost that tooth in that last right hand, and that rather discouraged him, and I think it also may have hurt his jaw. You notice how his jaw is hanging there a little bit. I believe that right hand, which is a hard right hand, may have injured his jaw as well as taken out a tooth.
We're going to look at it on replay now. As we pointed out, Leonid Shaponikov of the Soviet Union is a left-handed fighter. He leads with a right hand, and he really banged in hard, and apparently there could be a jaw injury to Henry Bunch as he is being looked after by another spectacular young fighter from the U.S., Ray Patterson. And now the official decision is announced. And now watch. You'll see Shaponikov come in faking. There's the right-hand lead. A finalist in the New York Golden Gloves. And he will be going against, ironically, a lieutenant in the Red Army, Anatoly Klemanov. There is Klemanov. The Felt Forum of Madison Square Garden is completely sold out for this first USA-USSR boxing competition here in New York City. Anatoly Klemanov looking on across the ring at Al Fracker. And here is the bell, and we're ready for round one. Klemanov getting some straight left hands, and now Fracker comes in with a hard overhand left. This is the 175-pound light heavyweight division. Fracker hitting in hard with a good left hook. Klemanov, very, very experienced fighter. Excellent style. Fracker fights without a mouth guard. I didn't see it knocked out, and he hasn't got one in.
Right in. Wait.
You hear the go-go chant. There are some 1,200 cadets down here to back their fellow mate from the academy, Al Fracker. Now Klemanov gets some inside punches. The referee in the ring is Eddie Urbeck of the USA. Couple of good punches snapped in there by Klemanov, and Fracker comes back with a couple of his own. This is round one of the light heavyweight division. There'll be two light heavyweight